the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino in this hour. Our best bets for today and the Super Bowl as well, coming up in 15 minutes in pocket plays at that point. And then at the bottom of the hour for two full segments, Circa owner and CEO Derek Stevens in studio. We'll get into early action they've seen on the Super Bowl, Circa Squares, which are awesome. And they hosted the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, on Saturday. I have to find out what that was like. And he had a couple of minutes, right, to talk with the President. And so, like, in that window, when you know that you have 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it is, what do you talk about?
Have you ever been in that position with a powerful person?
Twice with the President, yeah.
Have you ever been, it's like, I'll give you 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes of my time.
Oh, that's a great question.
Because I've seen it before, and I'll tell it to Derek. I've seen it the other way, where someone tries to pitch Derek, and he goes, okay, you got to hurry.
You're on the clock.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Make this
Imagine
quick.
what that's the pressure, and then you better be like, if you get 5 minutes with the president, what do you have? What's your list of questions, or what are your topics, right? And that's your big boy too. That happened to me once when I was trying to get a job right out of college. Guy says, "Okay, you got 5 minutes. Let me go."
Oh my God, I got a great story about
the guy walked in. I flew out here. I go, I'm out of college. I want to live here. I want to get the job. The guy air checked me right in his office. You got this is like, what is this, 2000? You got your demo tape? I go, yeah. He puts it in. He goes, okay.
Yeah,
that's
a little intimidating.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I'll give you one. I didn't know I was on a time crunch. Well, I knew I had a couple of minutes. The 2007 NBA All-Star Game out here in Las Vegas.
Right.
So we were doing our show that weekend from Mandalay Bay. On Friday night, before like the rookie All-Star game, what is it called? The rookie sophomore game that they used to have?
Yeah.
Okay, so Barkley and NBA on TNT, they're broadcasting outside of Caesar's Palace. I had set this up. I was promised I would get a couple of minutes with Charles Barkley. So I had to make my way down at the end of our show, and I had to catch a taxi from Mandalay Bay to go to Caesar's Palace. And I had to go through this whole scrum and fight through and show credentials. And I'm like, yeah, you told me I was going to have some time. So at Barkley's awesome. The show ends. I got there right in the nick of time. Barkley comes over. He's giving me, and you know what? Guess what I was talking to him about? Sports betting, which was it was 10 years out from being legal across the country at that point. Because Charles Barkley used to go on the Dan Patrick Show all the time, and he would crush it by talking about his bets. And it was incredible audio or radio.
Huge blackjack player.
No doubt.
Huge.
90 seconds in, the PR guy for TNT is giving me this. Like he's got to go, cuts it off. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay, I see this. And I'm like, I had wrapped it up with him. I thought I had like 4 or 5 minutes. Easy. And the conversation was going swimmingly. We get done. The guy comes over, and he's got this look on his face. He's like puzzled, and he goes, that's what you wanted to talk to him about? I was like, are you serious? I was so mad at the guy. To this day, I don't even know who the guy is. I have to go back and look and see if I wanted to kill him on the spot. I'm like, you cut me off because that's what I was asking him about?
Publicists and PR people.
Oh, I wanted to take that guy and throw him in the Caesars fountain and just drown him at the time.
Sure.
Like, you loser. I cannot believe you did that.
Should have been allowed to.
My blood is boiling. What is it now? It's 18 years later. I'm still pissed off about it.
Hey, funny you bring it up and go that angle too, because I was once allowed going to get 5 minutes with Affleck. He was in the poker scene, and he was out at the Bellagio in a poker tournament. And I'm like, you get 5 minutes with Affleck. Okay, it's the summer, so I'm thinking I'll start Red Sox, Yankees, and then I'll try to get into poker, and then if I have time, movies. And I think he had something coming out. In the Bozo, they put him on the side, like the walkway where the pit area.
Yeah.
They positioned him on his seat on the outside where all the people could get at him and take pictures.
So the public right there with everybody else.
Yes. Out of all the spots you could put him, and he was one of the biggest stars in the world at the time. And he just got so pissed off and flustered and was just like, I can't believe this. And he's getting hounded for autographs and people coming up picture while he's trying to play in the poker tournament. And the whole thing blew up, and I didn't get my 5 minutes.
Nothing?
No.
Oh,
couldn't
God.
even get him. I couldn't even get him because he was just so pissed off what happened. He's like, I'm not talking.
The absolute worst of the worst.
Yeah. But I would like to hear from people, though, on that. Whether your job, whatever. Have you ever said something, a powerful person or at any point in your life? Okay, pitch me. You got 5 minutes. Let's go. And how did you do?
It's do or die time right now.
I'd love to hear that. Do or die time. Yep. You got 5. You're on the clock.
Email ftm@vsin.com, on X at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard. Okay, so this came to mind thinking about the Super Bowl. Like Barkley's magical season and where this could rank all time. Like if they would win, if he goes nuts and maybe has a Super Bowl MVP. I'll get to the running backs that have had better seasons or absolutely in the conversation in a second. But I want to tie it into Cooper Kupp from 2021. The regular season, he had 145 catches, 1,947 yards, 16 touchdowns. That's the second most catches ever, behind 149 by Michael Thomas. Second most regular season receiving yards ever. Kelvin Johnson had 17 more in 2012, and tied for 15th for most receiving touchdowns ever in a single season. He was the 4th player ever to win the receiving Triple Crown at that point, and he eventually won the Super Bowl MVP. I think you could argue, all things considered, Cooper Kupp's 2021 season was the best season ever by a wide receiver because of the Super Bowl MVP.
Okay.
Would you agree with that? Moss's season, better numbers overall, more touchdowns, didn't win the Super Bowl.
Did Rice get it in the 87?
87?
He had 23 touchdowns in a strike year? It's up there.
So it's right there.
Yeah.
So Barkley's season, and I guess people would say the writing was on the wall. You had to bet Kupp to win the MVP that year in the Super Bowl, and he did. Barkley's 2024 season, 2,005 rushing yards in the 13 touchdowns. 442 more rushing yards in the playoffs, 5 more touchdowns. So he's at 2,447 combined rushing yards, regular and postseason, 18 touchdowns. He needs 53 more yards in the Super Bowl to become the first player in history to break 2,500 rushing yards.
Damn.
So overall, if he would win the Super Bowl MVP, where would that rank compared to, I'll bring up 1999 Marshall Faulk.
Incredible player.
1,381 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns. 87 catches, 1,048 more in the air.
Yeah.
5 more scores.
See, Barkley's prop is 14.5 for receiving.
Yeah.
It's just there, bam.
He was the 3rd player ever with 1,000 rushing and receiving. Rams won the Super Bowl. He was not the Super Bowl MVP, however. 1995, Emmitt Smith. He led the league in carries with 377. He led the league in yards, 1,773, and touchdowns, 25. He had 298 yards and 6 touchdowns in the postseason. 31 combined rushing touchdowns are the most ever.
Well, I'm going to piss some people off here, but I don't care. And I know where you fall. I'm a Barry Sanders guy. I'm a Barkley guy. I'm a Terrell Davis guy. I think Emmitt Smith was a tad overrated. I could have run through those holes. It was the best offensive line in the history of football.
Yep.
Don't laugh, I averaged 6 yards a carry in the Arena League. I just think Emmitt was great, but it was ridiculous up front what they did.
I totally agree.
Ridiculous.
I would laugh at people, including my own brother, who was a lifelong Cowboys fan, who tried to tell me that Emmitt Smith was better than Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's like the dumbest argument that you could ever have. Anyway, 1997 Terrell Davis, you're up. This guy, I think, should actually. He was on pace to be like the best running back of all time. So, 1997, 1,750 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns. He set an NFL record with 8 postseason rushing touchdowns. He had another 581 on the ground, and he won Super Bowl MVP. He had, think about this for a second. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in that Super Bowl, and he missed an entire quarter due to a migraine.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, as someone who used to suffer at a young age from migraines, there's nothing that you can do. I don't care if you're in the Super Bowl or not. You're missing a quarter until the migraine's gone.
Kidney stone?
Yeah, you can't do anything with that either.
But yeah, you've had them both.
Yeah, I used to.
My cousin used to get them. Crippled them.
Migraines.
Yeah, migraines.
You have to go into a bedroom.
Yep.
You can have no light.
Yep.
You can have no sound
Yep.
whatsoever, and you need to be by yourself with no interaction. And you have honestly, the only thing that would work, I would have to go to the bathroom somehow, get out of my bed, and make myself throw up, and that would eliminate the headache eventually. Only thing. That's how bad they were.
How tough is that guy? Because Shanahan said, go in and be a decoy.
Yeah. Incredible.
I know.
Incredible.
What a tough guy.
In 1998, the next year, 19 games, including the postseason, 2,476 yards, 24 touchdowns. That year in the regular season, he had 2,008 yards, 21 touchdowns, only back in history to be in that club. Pauly, he won the MVP and Offensive Player of the Year.
Damn. This is great.
I don't know if Barkley can have a better season than that, but I'll tell you, is the writing on the wall?
It is. And
he's going to have a great game, be Super Bowl MVP, and he's in the conversation, best year all time by a running back.
And it's his birthday. He's 28.
On top of everything else.
There it is. It's meant to be. You nailed it. Bring it home now, Barkley. Bring it home. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now live 24/7. Sirius XM Channel 158, whether you're at home, on the road, or on the go. More ways than ever to tune into VSiN. Stream us live, VSiN.com, VSiN Watch app, YouTube TV, iHeartRadio, Fire TV, Roku, and now Sirius XM. Great to be back. Tell your friends. Sirius XM Channel 158.
Yeah, what a season. Incredible. He's going to win the Offensive Player of the Year. He's not going to win the MVP. But there's a chance where he takes home that award and also the Super Bowl MVP. Wild stuff. If you needed, I always thought this about Terrell Davis. If you needed like 1 yard, this is way before the tush push, obviously, and they also had a great offensive line. If you needed 1 yard for a first down or if you needed 4 yards for a first down, he was going to get it. He just put his head down and you weren't going to stop him. He was so good. Unfortunately, his career was cut short. We'll get to our best bets in pocket plays coming up next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're right.
All right, going to add it. Talked more about it during the break. This is available at DraftKings. The number's key. Number of Chiefs players to have a reception in the Super Bowl under 8.5. In the AFC title game, it was 8. No Noah Gray. I guess you could say Watson. He was out there.
Did he not catch one?
No, but he was on the field.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there was I remember him saying his name, and it was a penalty or something.
Yep.
P. Ryan had a catch. Big one, but remember, it was late. Pacheco had 2 catches. Hunt had a catch. Smith-Schuster off the milk carton had a catch. Hopkins had a catch. I mean, you're really slicing it thin here. I mean, that to me, that's a big ass to get to 9. Worthy, Smith-Schuster, Brown, Kelsey, P. Ryan, Pacheco, Hopkins, Hunt. No Gray, no Watson. Would they throw the ball to Mahomes? I don't. The more I think about it, I think you have something there with the middle. Go under 8.5, go over 7.5.
Yeah, good.
I think you're right with the 7.5. All right, that's the new one. Can't wait for this Super Bowl. Gonna be good. Then I'll go cry in the corner when the season's over. Under 2.5 turnovers in the game. Under -150. Kansas City, 8 straight games without a turnover. You had the Mahomes fumble. And then the the Eagles have played clean football in the playoffs. And I trust Hurts to take care of the ball as well. 3 turnovers? Can't see it. Chiefs' longest made field goal, even money. Both teams to make a 33-yard field goal. Even money, $1.10. Shop it. I can do better than this. Octopus, 16 to 1 at the Westgate.
Yeah.
It happened 2 years ago between these teams. Hurts did it. A lot of candidates here. Could be a high-scoring game. And plus, you have to like the Barkley-Hurts angle, too, with the Octopus. And probably Elliott misses an extra point. Successful 2-point conversion, plus 255. And, of course, have to do it. Mahomes over rushing yards, 28.5. I want him to be the leading rusher for the Chiefs. I think that has a good chance to cash.
All right.
I don't think they can get anything going on the ground against Philly.
Very good. Easy winner last night.
Sure.
Iowa State, Arizona over 151.5. Well, again, no complaining from me, at least for this week. With that, coupled with P. Ryan going over 8.5 yards on Sunday, going to enjoy excellence. Not going to whine and complain. Here's what I've added for tonight. Xavier Worthy, over 4.5 rushing yards, bet that at -110. Mike Somich really onto something with that, and it was
Good
awesome
number.
the breakdown on Friday.
Get that number, though. That could fall 5. There's 5.5, 6. Got to get that number.
Yep. Bet this last night, Knicks to win the Atlantic Division 6-1. They're a game back. They scored 140 points last night against a very good Memphis team. Boston lost yet again. Again, are they going through the motions? Are they maybe not as good as we think?
Stop with the excuses. They're bored.
Yeah, they take too many threes. I don't know. But they're a game back. 6-1's out there. Got to add more. I already had it plus 350.
Sorry. Number 1, are you hanging out with the guys? Huh? Do you know that? Number 2, it's lazy analysis. Oh, they lose. Oh, they're bored. Oh, they lost. They're bored.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
This is, it's the Blackhawks' first period over.
Hello.
Again, we're going to go to war with this one. Minus 136 is what I played as they take on the Lightning. And I added an NBA prop as well. So the Bucks are playing on a back-to-back, and they were in Utah last night. They go to Portland in this game tonight. I'll go Anthony Simons over. This has moved. It was 19.5. Should have bet it earlier. Damn it. 20.5, but it's plus 104. A couple of reasons here. He's playing heavy minutes, mid-30s every game. He only had 14 against OKC, but OKC is one of the best. They are the best defensive team in basketball. He had 27 against Charlotte, 21 against Orlando, 24 against Miami. He also has done exceedingly well against Milwaukee since they traded Damian Lillard, the Blazers did, to the Bucks. And he had 28 against them on January 4th. And he had another game where I think it was 24-25 against the Bucks, playing a lot of minutes, taking a lot of shots here in recent form. I'll take the plus money at over 20.5 points tonight for the Blazers and Anthony Simons.
The Jonathan Davis play and his angle, and he's been on this. You can read him every day, vsin.com. Is if a team gets shut out and then the next game, bet the goal in the first 10 in the first period over, and it got there last night in Vancouver. So this qualifies with the Blackhawks as well. Tampa Bay got shut out in their last game. I bet that, and I like goal in the first 10 as well. It's a good angle, and it's I think it's hit 70%, something like that. What he said. If you're the kind of player who wants to drop $10,000 or more on an NFL line at the best price in the market, and you're looking for instant acceptance on your in-game bets, you need Sport Trade, the app that's revolutionizing sports betting. $4 lines instead of the standard $10. Instant in-game betting, concierge player service. Sport Trade delivers a premium betting experience like no other. Sport Trade live in New Jersey, Colorado, Iowa, Arizona, and Virginia. Download Sport Trade today, code VSIN. Get a 10% cash back on every wager during your first week. Got to be 21. Go get Sport Trade. So I'm looking at Worthy's game log here. 2 for 16 last week. 1 for -8 against Houston. 2 for 10, 3 for 10, 3 for 30, 1 for 5, 1 for 5, 1 for 7, 2 for -10, 1 for 5, 1 for 3, 3 for 13, 1 for 5, 1 for 21. Come on. Love over 4.5.
Okay.
Love it.
I'm on board.
I'm with Somich. I think he can get two carries.
All right, so we're getting plenty of feedback. You asked the question, if you've ever been given like 5 minutes with somebody very important.
I love this stuff.
Right? Because, again, President Trump came to Las Vegas on Saturday, and they had a rally here at Circa. So Derek Stevens was going to have a couple of minutes with them, and then what do? And you told the story, like people come up and they try to pitch Derek all the time, and Derek's a total man of the people. He sits out here, watches games. You can go up and have a drink with him. He's awesome. And he'll sometimes say, I'm busy, you got 5 minutes. Go ahead, pitch me, right? So email is ftm@vsin.com. This is from Robert. He said, not a personal one, but a movie, a best 5-minute reference ever. Bud Fox, quote, life all comes down to a few moments. This is one of them.
Yes.
End of quote. Gordon Gekko gives him 5 minutes.
Yes.
Blue Star Airlines.
Yes.
Douglas was amazing as Gekko.
Yes, he was.
I haven't seen that movie in so long, I got to go back and watch it.
He won the Oscar.
I think you're right.
Yep. And then what was the other line? Your dad doesn't work for that company or whatever? Because the other one he gave out sucked? The stock? Damn, that's a good movie.
How about this?
Good callback.
This is from Greg, ftm@vsin.com. He was able to get a couple of minutes with the front man from Five Finger Death Punch before a show. The last time they played in town. His wife and they were both there. They were told he has 10 minutes. An hour and 20 minutes later, he said, I have to get warmed up. We're on in 20. Then we stood on the side of the stage for the entire show. That's insane.
What?
Wow.
He got an hour and 20 minutes of his time?
You got 10 minutes. The guy gave him an hour and 20 and said, hold on, I got to go. I got to warm up for the show. And then watch it. That's, wow, what a story that is. They're coming in fast and furious here. This is from Jordan. I'm reading this live, so bear with me here. I hope there are no, he's at the inauguration for George H. Bush Sr. He's walking in a tux. He's 13 years old. George W. walks by. I yelled, "Go Rangers." He was part owner, and I'm from Dallas-Fort Worth. He turns around and says, "You like the Rangers?" I said, "Heck yes." He asked me where I was from, and I told him. Then I said to him, "Can I tell you something?" He says, "Sure." I said, "You're going to be president one day." He says, "Of the United States?" And I said, "Yes." I asked if I could get a job if he becomes president. He says, "Yes." Here's the pick from when this happened. I didn't want a job in politics at that point because I was going to inherit a pizza company, and I already turned into being a spokesperson for Dick's Army's office in Texas. And there's a picture of, wow. That's long time ago.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Bush said, of the United States?
Yes. Question mark?
Watch this drive.
Yeah.
God. That's so good. Fool, can't get fooled again.
Yeah, don't get fooled again.
Oh, man. Oh, that's good. That is so good.
Bert is asking the question, I'm curious to know how Derek got Trump to hold his rally at Circa and then walk the casino floor. It's a great question. I mean, here's the thing. Trump has a casino in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he stayed there Friday.
But there's no gambling there.
Yes, you can be president of the United States, but also not... You can also get a gaming license.
Might not have a gaming license.
Yes, right.
So he did not have his rally at the Trump casino. He had it here, downtown instead. I'm still fascinated at how the Secret Service is able, and I'll throw this at Derek too. I studied broadcasting 30 years ago, but I could swear to God, I remember my teachers telling me that a broadcasting company has to stay on the air, specifically if something happens to the president of the United States. That's what I was told. I put money on it 30 years ago, so I might be a little off, but so they come in and they say, "Get out." Tim Murray's on the air. Others working behind the scenes. "Get out of here. You can't be here right now." Like, what?
And it's over the top.
It's crazy.
I don't care for it. Would he been arrested? Would they would have...
Probably.
What if that's
who knows?
us? Would you have gone up?
I would have. I don't know. Who knows? It wasn't in their shoes. But Derek Stevens and all this coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I have been looking forward to this segment since Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Now, it's a weekly spot. I look forward to it every single week, but specifically this week as Circa owner and CEO Derek Stevens joins us in studio here. And we will get to what happened over the weekend with the visit from the President of the United States of America. Fascinated by this story. First of all, how are you?
Good. Good to see you, fellas.
Hey, buddy.
What a whirlwind weekend it must have been for you.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was it all happened in just a couple short days. So it all happened quickly.
Okay, so before we get to that, Super Bowl obviously posted up here. What's the early action been like?
It's been great two-way. I mean, from the moment we posted, it's been, Chiefs, boom, comes right back. Eagles, Chiefs, Eagles, Chiefs, Eagles. I mean, it was great two-way. We were getting close. We had a couple of inquiries that came about, wondering if there's a shot we were going to go to a 2 on Sunday night. We indicated it didn't look like it, and we passed on a couple potential bets. We had a couple of big players that were going to make a play. One was a 7-figure play.
Ooh.
If it hit 2, but we indicated we didn't think that was going to happen, so we didn't take that bet.
Is there any indication or talks amongst everybody here at the book that the Eagles actually might turn into a favorite at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's legit. I mean, I heard you the other day talking about where you were on Sunday, and at one point there was a thought, okay, Eagles look so good early in the day, maybe the Eagles are going to often pick to maybe a favorite, and then they open up. I think opening up Chiefs 1.5 point favorites was a little surprising to a lot of people, but boom, immediately got the two-way going.
I think it's a great Super Bowl. Don't you think, even though we had it 2 years ago? Are you getting there's Chiefs fatigue? We just saw the record numbers for the AFC title game, or do you think that based on what happened 2 years ago, the firepower in this game, that it's going to do a tremendous business and it's going to be a good matchup?
I think this will be a great Super Bowl. I think it'll be a great Super Bowl. I think there's a certain element where people want to see something new.
Sure.
I think people wanted to see Josh Allen. I think they wanted to see the Lions. They wanted to see Josh Allen. They wanted to see a few things like that. I think the Chiefs may have been slightly more interesting when Tyreek Hill was on the team. Now it's Mahomes and Kelsey, and that's kind of what we're talking about. I think maybe you're on the country. Maybe there's some Chiefs fatigue, but I do know the moment that it happened, I was sitting out there with Wilbo, and our phones started lighting up. Hey, need a room. Hey, need a suite. Hey, need this, need that. So, Chiefs fans they're professionals.
They're always,
yeah. So it should be good.
Are you finding then, like the bets, the people who want KC are betting them on the money line at like -125, and people are betting +1.5 with the Eagles, or no?
It's been a mix money line. We use an 18-cent split money line. We use the -110 both ways on the spread. We've had a good amount of, I'd say, out of those four scenarios, Eagles money line has been the most favored. I would say. I think people prefer to get a little bit of plus money on the Eagles than take the 1.5.
How did you guys do on Sunday then with the Eagles and over getting there, and then the late game, the action again with the Bills coming down to a pick 'em, and that was like back to one, big money on Bills, and I'm guessing you were getting big money on the Chiefs back the other way.
Yeah, it was going back and forth, but by the time the game kicked, we needed the Chiefs.
You did.
So so the game, we needed the Chiefs by 3 or more. So we needed the Chiefs by the time that game went. On futures, we would have been better if it was Eagles versus Bills. We would have had big winners both ways. This way, we got a big winner on Eagles. Chiefs is a little bit a small loss on the futures market of who will win the Super Bowl.
All right, let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Circa owner and CEO, Derek Stevens. Also, Circa Squares are up. This is awesome because you get to choose your square and the numbers that you want. Each square has its own odds, so you're always in control of your bet. You can download the Circa Sports Nevada app today and place your Circa Squares bet. Turn your big game into a big win with Circa Sports, but it's also available in your other states as well, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, and Kentucky. Are the bets coming in on the squares fast and furious already as well?
Yeah, they are. I was up in my office, and I got the bet ticker in all 5 states. And I was like, wow, they're popular. I think this is the first year they're going to be substantially popular in Illinois because we were kind of newer there last year. We weren't in Kentucky, so we're happy about that. So yeah, the plays are coming in. I love seeing these $100 plays or higher. The way it works is you pick your own square at the end of the first quarter or second quarter or third quarter or game. You can bet whatever you want up to win up to 100,000. And obviously the big long shots are always in the first quarter because you need something crooked to happen in the first quarter. By the time you get to the end of the game, all the different scenarios are a little more wide open type of thing. But, it's not easy to get a 9 and a 5 at the end of the first quarter.
Well, look at Sunday, by the way. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Later in the game, right, Buffalo's going for 2 every time they're not getting it, so that created a spot where it was 9-9 at one point, and then the end result was 9-2.
Right. All right. So, first quarters, you really got to zero in on the common numbers. 0, 3, 7. That's kind of where, we almost ought to have a prop up. Will everything fall under 0, 3, 7 or something like that?
Good idea. I think you're going to see some madness, though, because of Elliott.
You could.
He
Yeah,
missed
you're
two-
right.
You can't trust this guy.
That's true.
And he misses one, then it's up for grabs, and here come the 2-point tries.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Or you might see a penalty, and they go tush-push at the one again, like they did after the
that's
unsportsmanlike
true.
That's
That's
that
true.
you could have. You told this story last year. A guy bought every single one?
Oh, yeah.
How often does that happen?
Oh, it's already happening.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm buying every one. I want to
Yeah.
cash a ticket. I'm going to...
Why?
Oh, my God.
Our corporate lawyer's upstairs right now. He's probably watching the show. He
Yeah.
said he's throwing a Super Bowl party at his house, and he's going home. He's going home in a couple days. He's going to buy all 100.
Yeah.
Great
Give him all
party
his gifts.
Great party gifts at his house.
Great party gifts. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well
Yeah.
done.
So the most common landing spot in the first quarter, by the way, is 0-0, as you would think, right? It's happened 15 out of 58 Super Bowls.
Really?
Yeah. So
How many of those were 10-0?
you know what? I didn't look at that. I
Yeah.
just looked at the last number. So that translates to, I think the money lines are up plus 287.
Okay.
You're getting good value here at plus 450.
We're plus
based
450.
on history, right?
Yeah. The one thing you got to remember about these Circa Squares, these are dynamic. I mean, what CB put together here to put this out there? He got it out early. Got it out yesterday. It's good, but you know, it doesn't take much. I mean, you know, Paul, you walk up, you bet 1,000 on that one. It probably won't be plus 450
Right.
too much longer.
Sure.
Right.
How popular is the first quarter compared to the other quarters and like the end of the game?
It's funny. That's a great question. You know what? There's a quarter that doesn't get a lot of respect. I've noticed
The third quarter.
Third quarter.
Third quarter.
No
It's
one
gotta
bets
be.
the third quarter.
Yeah.
They all bet the game because that's kind of normal.
Sure.
Right? Then after that, first quarter is the next most selected. Then second. Then third. Third is like maybe 5%. It's not a respected
5%,
quarter.
huh?
I don't
It's
know
not
why.
a respected
I don't know why.
quarter.
In squares, it's not. It's very critical in the game.
Yeah.
And don't you think that you're going to get some super random landing spots in the third quarter as well?
Yeah, you will. You will. I did notice another trend today though, which I'm thinking about maybe makes sense. I saw a guy in Illinois. He bet like something like 2-7 or 7-2 or something like that. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and then he picked another two numbers the whole time, like did every quarter. So I was thinking, okay, I bet you this guy's going to some baller Super Bowl party. And he wanted to make sure he picked the same numbers for every quarter because it'd be easier if he's hammered to remember what the numbers are. You know, it's got to be something like that to go it all the way. It's like win play
great.
show. It's like bloop.
Will you take bets on this to win 100,000?
Yeah, to win 100.
You will.
Yeah, that's how we're putting it out there. So
Great.
You know, if you got something that's 100 to 1, we'll take 1,000 on it. If you got something that's 1,000 to 1. We'll take 100 on it. So yeah, it's max payouts 100,000.
You take 20,000 right now and plus 450.
Yeah.
No problem. Goes
Actually,
right in.
I would love to see that because that's going to make all these other numbers change. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Chris Ben's got to go back to where he's got to change 99 other numbers.
You remember the first year you did this?
Oh, yeah.
You remember the Super Bowl?
Who played in the game?
I remember, Washington. It was Washington
Are
Raiders.
you talking about this one or when we were
Squares.
younger?
No, when you were
Oh,
younger.
I
Because
remember
everyone
that.
had, yeah.
I remember having squares in that game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's my first memory, and Squares and Marcus Allen, yeah.
My grandpa is in his recliner. It's rigged! It's rigged! I'll never
that's
forget that.
good, yeah.
More with Derek Stevens up next. So what was it like to host a rally for the President of the United States of America over the weekend? We'll ask him coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Rolling along here with the owner and CEO of Circa Resort and Casino here in downtown Las Vegas, Derek Stevens. What a weekend. You hosted the President of the United States of America. They had a rally here, right, about the no taxes on tips. That was a big deal, obviously. So how did this whole thing come together?
Well, a week ago, Wednesday, I'm in a hotel meeting about 3:00, and I get a text from a phone number that I don't know, and the person introduced himself and said, "Hey, President Trump's going to be coming to Vegas on Saturday. he wants to announce something he talked about in his campaign. Would you have interest in? Do you have availability? And I looked up the person whose name it was. I'm like, oh, okay. I've heard of this person, but I didn't know them. I don't know how they got my number. And then I said, how about I call you in 15 minutes? So I called back, had a couple people in the room listening. They said, okay. I said, well, yeah, we could probably do that. And then it kicked off to the fellow that was in charge of the Republican Party in Nevada. He said, can I give your phone number out to the White House? I'm like, okay. Because they're going to call you within 20 minutes. They called within 20 minutes. And the lead guy from the White House advance team says, hi, Derek, heard we might have an opportunity this event at your place. I'm going to head down with a number of different agencies. I'm like, okay, let me know when you want to be there. He goes, well, we're all on the road. We're going to be there in 3 minutes. And I said, okay. I said, all right. They were in our Port Cochere before I got down from my office. That's how quickly they were here. Wow. So I get down there, and they're introducing me, and it was a lot of different agencies that were here. And they said, every agency, we respect them independently. They all have their own requirements. If any one agency says, no go, this won't work, it's over with. So you got to make sure every agency's comfortable, from NSA to Secret Service to White House to whatever. So I said, okay, nice to have everybody here. I'll give everybody a tour. We had a little bit of our team here. And the lead guy for the White House says, fortunately, Derek, I know this property really, really well. And I'm like, okay. He said, but the rest of this crew doesn't, so we're going to have to go through everything here. I'm like, okay. And I said, just out of curiosity, how do you know this property real well? He goes, oh, well, the last couple of years, I come up to Stadium Swim. This is where me and my buddies do, we'd sign up for our fantasy football draft. I go, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
So this fella's, I don't know. I don't want to age him too much. I'd say, mid-50s, I would say. So he'd been here for a few fantasy football drafts. So
That's
I thought
amazing.
that was pretty cool. So that was a good opening.
Yeah, sure.
So he obviously endorsed us. He said, okay, why don't we try it?
Yeah, no kidding. How much pressure did that instantly put on you, your staff, security, everybody?
Holy smokes. Yeah, so next thing they came to check things out. 4 hours later, they're still here on Wednesday night. They said they'd be back on Thursday morning. They came back Thursday morning with a whole bunch of other people. And at 11:30, they said, okay, we're looking at 4 different venues. We'll let you know. And I kind of thought, I kind of try to stay a little bit out of politics here, but I'm a business guy, and I kind of thought this topic was good. I kind of thought, no tax on tips. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, no tax on tips is a good thing. It's a good thing for the economy. It's a good thing for our workers. It's a good thing whether you're union, whether you're non-union. It doesn't matter. This is a good thing. So I kind of want to endorse this, and I thought it was pretty awesome that the President of the United States wanted to come to Las Vegas to announce this, a city and a community where tips are such a big part of people's compensation out here. And then to have a chance to be one of the places that he could have announced it at, I thought that was pretty cool. And then they didn't call back for like we were supposed to find out. Didn't find out. By Thursday at about 4:00, I'm like, it's probably not happening. They haven't called back. 4:30, we get the phone call.
Okay.
Hey, you've been selected. We're in. I'm like, then it really started cooking.
Yeah, I bet.
So we talked about this before you came on. Were you told you get 5 minutes with them? You can talk to them for 10 minutes? I mean, do you have a list of stuff, what you had planned about you'll get the president's time for this amount? Or you get how that went?
I was not guaranteed any time with him at all. I was hopeful I would see him. I was hopeful I'd be around in the mix here. I expected I'd be able to see the speech, which ironically I didn't get to see it. I got yanked out of the room.
You did?
Oh. Yeah, I never got to see it. I was behind the podium, behind everything. I didn't get to actually go in the room. Nicole's sitting there in the front row with the governor and with the lieutenant governor with an empty seat next to her because they didn't let me go in the room.
Who'd you get yanked out by?
By the White House group. Because they said, we can't have you in there watching. As soon as he comes off, we have to walk him down to the crap table. I'm like, okay. So I got that part yanked away from me, but I liked that because then I got to walk the whole distance of the casino talking to him. So that was pretty good.
There's your chance then.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
What'd I say? I was ready, man. I had a couple of key things I wanted to mention. I said, hey, I know you're trying to focus on efficiency. This first week that you're doing is unbelievable, but I got a couple of things for you. It probably never hits your desk or it wouldn't hit your radar, but we got to get rid of this federal excise tax. This is the sports betting federal excise tax. When they started this thing in the 1950s, the only reason they put this tax in there was to be able to go after the illegal guys, the mob guys, things like that. It wasn't really to generate revenue. It doesn't generate that much revenue. But nowadays, the only guys that pay this tax are the legal guys. It actually helps the illegal guys. It helps the offshores. I go, you got to get rid of that thing. Effectively, it generates about $250 million in revenue for the federal government. But if there was more business that was done in the United States, you can generate $1 billion. So I said, that's my opening line. I said it. I gave you 30 seconds. There's $700 million. Top line right there.
There you go.
You got to hit it quick.
Yeah.
And
Did that grab his attention?
Yeah.
What?
Did that grab his attention?
Yeah. I gave him, he goes, I want to see them. Yeah, it's $700 million. You offer $700 million a year. Like, yeah. So hopefully, we had an impact. I mean, the Gaming Association and a lot of legislators have worked on this for a while, but it always seems to die somewhere, in Congress somewhere.
Somewhere along the line.
Now I just had an opportunity. Well, okay, I'm going to take it from the top down and try to present it. And then the other one was I just thought that there's been so much work done on this ridiculous $1,200 threshold for jackpot for W2Gs. So I had some data. Number one, this $1,200. I don't know a lot of people know this, but that was the number from 1971. It's never gone up since then. It's crazy. And then last year, there were 31 million W2Gs issued at all the casinos around the country.
Wow.
And if you just raise it from $1,200 up to $5,000, you can get rid of 95% of these W2Gs. All this wasted time. Yeah. Over 5 million man hours of wasted paperwork. It just, it doesn't make sense. If you raised it to 10,000, you can get rid of almost 98% of all W2Gs.
They have to do that.
They got to do it. So
good
anyway,
job
I just tried to. I only had a couple opportunities. I got to walk them this way, and we got to walk them back, so I was able to talk about that and just try to push it.
You got to open strong.
Yeah, maybe the two of you will be playing in a fantasy football league with that guy at some point, and Trump will be back here at Stadium Swim drafting.
Yeah. That'd be so.
Did I hear this correctly? You said that you thought that you knew every square inch of Circa, but you actually saw like a spot or two that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah, I walked a lot of back hallways, extra fire escapes up and down. So yeah, it's a pretty big building here. So but you got to do a routine. Like when you guys come in, you got to go a certain way. Yeah. You know where to park, all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a few little back paths I kind of found out even after a few years.
Yeah, I've seen you be pitched before. What's the best advice you could give someone if you say you get the question? Okay, you get 5 minutes of my time with someone powerful. Go.
Well, you got to figure out whoever you're pitching, you got to figure out what they're looking for, and it has to be material enough that they pay attention. So that's why I figured, okay, federal excise tax can increase revenue by $700 million to the U.S. government. I figured as much. $700 million is a lot of money. Even at President Trump, it's a lot of money for the country. I figured maybe that would say, okay. And he did say, I'm interested in knowing more. So I thought that was good.
What else you got? Yeah.
And then the jackpot, I go, think about this jackpot. 5 million wasted work hours for American citizens. It's not even, it's so ridiculous. We could just do better than that.
That's a total waste.
Yeah. Hey, what do you guys think about on the crap table where he's at now? Just also realize he actually never played dice. He came in and shook hands with everybody. Yeah. I might maybe put a little plaque up there. This is where the president was.
100%.
President's corner.
Yeah.
No question.
Good idea.
That's, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
My gut reaction says you have to do that.
Well, how big is that across the street to go where the Rat Pack had a drink?
Absolutely.
That's huge. That's huge.
That's true.
Got to do it. Yeah. CircaLasVegas.com. Get your room. VSiN 15. Get 15% off the D. Golden Gate. CircaLasVegas.com. Book your trip. See you for the Super Bowl. Get your cabana. Get your spot in the sports book as well. Book now and save. CircaLasVegas.com. VSiN 15.
That was so good, Derek. Thanks so much for the time today.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Circa owner and CEO Derek Stevens. Primetime next. Humans Von Tobel. Good luck with your bets tonight. We'll see you.